Welcome, Maureen, on our MYB channel.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me here.
Please tell us about yourself and your career and your activities.
All right. Well, my name is Maureen. I'm the founder and what I call the chief of simplicity of 8 Simple Steps. It's actually the 6th company that I've created in my career. The first one I created, it was by accident, actually. I accidentally invented a pet product, totally by accident, like I said, and embarked on the world of entrepreneurship, leaving a huge corporate job and taking that calculated risk that so many entrepreneurs do, and walking out of that big salary and all those benefits, and then sitting in my basement isolated and having no money. Mm-hmm. And so that was the big switch to being an entrepreneur. And I have to tell you, I launched that company and embodied entrepreneurship. I embraced it, and I never looked back. And so I now am on a mission to empower other entrepreneurs to walk that entrepreneurial journey and really love every moment of it. And so that was my first company, and 5 companies later, I am still walking the entrepreneurial journey. And so I really specialize in marketing, branding, and business strategy. And those are my passions as far as the business aspects of building a company. Forget about operations. Don't talk to me about operations and talk to me about doing anything with accounting or anything with payroll. I don't want to talk to you about that in business. I want to talk to you about the fun stuff. So that gives you a little bit of background.
What motivated you to form so many companies, and what is your success of this?
I think that I would describe myself as a builder. I like building things from scratch, from nothing. I get an idea, I see something, it's kind of that visionary aspect of things, and I like putting all the pieces together. And once I've built it, I have to tell you, I get it to a point, it's all built. And then I'm like, okay, now what do I do with it? Now it's time to go build something else. So I get something to a certain point, and then it's time to go somewhere else. And I know when it's time. And that's when, with 8 Simple Steps, this company, it's got a long way to go before I get to that point. But I always say to people, my mission is for you to start, soar, and sustain a company for as long as you love it. Because when you get to the point where you don't love it anymore, it's time to move on to the next company. And I truly believe that. And I want you to enjoy the entrepreneurial journey along the way, because I think a lot of people don't enjoy building their company along the way. So that's truly what I embrace, because I truly believe I build something, and then when I'm ready to build something else, I move on. So when you ask me, why do I build so many? It's because I truly am the builder, and then it's time to build something else.
Great. Tell us about STRT Start.
So START is a blueprint. I created it a long time ago, probably without ever even realizing it. It's a process that I always put in place to build my companies. It is, when I really looked back, it was how I really made them successful. And I truly believe that you can never build a successful company without building your brand. I tell this to entrepreneurs all the time. There's a difference between brand and marketing. People don't realize that there's a difference. And when they say what's brand, they think it's automatically a logo and fancy fonts and colors. And I said, no, 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 no. And then they jump in and they market something that's never been solid with a target audience and a value prop and clear messaging that differentiates themselves in the audience out there. And all of a sudden they're stuck with a subpar product that can never really catapult itself and differentiate itself in the marketplace. And so I say, build your brand before you ever build a company. And so I found that when I looked back and thought, how was I successful? And where was there a comparison where I studied companies that weren't? It started and ended with brand. And so when I put that START blueprint together, I said, what did I follow and what did other companies not? It was S, securing lifetime profits started with securing brand. The other was thriving financially. What do companies do that derail them? And the first thing is pricing. They never get their price right from the start, and they end up in the red before they even start. And so I want companies to thrive financially, and that is always comes down to, how do you price your product? A lot of the times they get their finances all messed up before they even launch their company, and they go bankrupt before they even begin. The other thing is the right customers on the right platforms with the right campaigns, and that's how you accelerate cash into your company. And a lot of times today, I say the hardest things, the greatest challenge that a small business or any company has today is reaching, influencing, acquiring, and retaining customers. You got 4 generations out there. They're all different. You got to narrow it down. You got to find them. You've got to entertain them and influence them. It's the hardest thing we have. And then the other thing is, you know, I truly believe if you're going to achieve long-term goals, if you want to sell your company someday, you got to actually start now. You've got to evolve. If you want to scale, you got to start the moment you start your company. You got to start evolving. And there are certain habits that I have found that you need to start doing early on in order to think long-term. And then there's a certain way that an entrepreneur thinks in mindset, more than what they do. Entrepreneurs think differently. And I found this out actually the hard way. You have to think a certain way to overcome fear, to overcome self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, to give yourself more confidence. And so I created this blueprint on paper that I had always had in my head. And when I looked back, I realized, utilizing this, I had generated almost $50 million in revenue over the last couple years in my business, in my clients' business, in the companies I was brought in to turn around, when I looked at how I had utilized it. And I said, this is what small businesses need to follow. And that's what I'm doing for them. And that's what 8 Simple Steps is about. And I execute it very simply.
Yeah, good, very good. Tell us about your top 3 qualities. That's why you are successful.
I think the one thing with every entrepreneur is I'm extremely adaptable. I pivot very quickly. I can make changes at the drop of a hat. And I think that in today's environment or any environment, you have to almost see something coming before it actually does, you know, and go, all right, we're just dropping it. The second thing is I can really identify opportunities in a marketplace, and I create opportunities. If they're not there, I say, you know what, I'm going to create it. I call it the need behind the need that nobody knows they need until you make them need it. And that is one thing that I have always capitalized on and said, you know what, I'm going to make them believe they need something. It's like the pet rock. Do you think anybody ever needed a pet rock? But somebody brilliant out there convinced everybody they needed a pet rock. Come on. That's what you do. And then the third one, and you know what, I will tell you, this was not a skill that I was born with, but I have learned, and it has done me well now, is that I now swear by perfection should never be, you know, I've always been a perfectionist, but now I swear by, here's my advice to people. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good. Just launch it, okay? Because if you don't, you'll never get anything done. And then tweak it as you go. And it'll be amazing how perfect the product will eventually be and how good it is. But get it out there. And so now I kind of follow that advice.
Yeah. Nice. Tell me, Or any success story you like to share?
I think, you know what, I'm not even going to pick out one, because I feel like every day that I get up is a success. Whether I've done just the slightest little bit, like uploading a video that I'm proud of for a client, or that I have put a huge production up that I have been waiting, to finalize. I think every little thing that we do to move the needle forward, getting closer to our goals, is a success. I think sometimes we put these huge pressures on ourselves as to what is success today. It's all relative. What is success for me is different for everybody else. And so when somebody says, give me a success you've done, I say, you know what? I have so many I can't give you, because there are so many, big, small, and medium. So I'm not even going to give you one, because every single day that I do something, I have 5 or 6 today that are going to be considered a success. I've moved the needle towards something good today.
Very important message you have given today. Very nice. Yes, what are your top 3 wishes you have to fulfill yet?
Oh my gosh. First off, my biggest wish is that I could travel more, if you want the truth. I want to travel more with my husband. My kids are going off. My final one is going off to college. And I want my husband and I to travel more. I think that's why I work as hard as I do, so that I will be able to get things on autopilot a little bit. Like the company will be on evergreen, which is great. I think entrepreneurs strive for that type of freedom, where we can get things just automated and rolling a little bit, so that I can just go travel a little bit. So that's one wish that I have. I think the other thing too is, as an entrepreneur, I think we're a rare breed. We go into this for that freedom, for that peace of mind, that we don't have to, ever go back and work for somebody else again. And so I think that sometimes we can get caught up that we will always be in that situation, but I don't think that's a reality today. I think we are always one step away from possibly going and working for somebody else. When you look at it, being an entrepreneur is so, so hard that you constantly, maybe in the back of your mind, have to say, wow, you got to work really, really hard all the time. I want to get to a point where I can always say, I've been an entrepreneur for years. I've owned company after company, but I don't want to ever have to go back and work for somebody else. I want to make sure, I want that peace of mind that I will always be one. That's my wish. I wish somebody can put the fairy dust on me and say, you will never have to go back. Maybe that's what makes me work harder and harder. And wish number 3, I just want to make sure, my wish is that myself and my family are as healthy as possible for as long as possible. Those are my wishes.
So nice of you. Any message you would like to give to the audience?
Entrepreneurs out there, you are embarking on the hardest journey, the hardest career that you could ever embark on, yet it is the most rewarding one you will ever do. All I want to say is that, 1, there'll be a lot of fear of both failure and success. It's completely normal. My advice to you is streamline and keep things very simple, and always seek out as many resources and as many mentors and coaches as you can. Never go through it alone, because if you do, you'll make a lot of mistakes, which increases the anxiety and the fear. And it also impedes you upon the joy of the journey. you don't enjoy it as much as you build your company. And that's not what it's about. So please enjoy it, seek out assistance, and you'll be much more successful at it.
Thanks, Maureen, for this wonderful talk. Yeah, wonderful talk on our channel, MYB. Wish you all the best. Happy life, healthy life.
You too. Stay well, stay safe. And thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.